but you know you're not home. I can see you, brown skin shining in the sun. Hello, welcome to the Vintage Girl Next Door. My name is Laci, and today I have a fun little Halloween skirt sewing vlog. I'm not going to call it a tutorial because I am not a professional seamstress and I am not really fit to teach anyone anything about sewing. So I'm just going to let you follow along my process. I'm going to make a Halloween skirt, like I said, and I found the cutest fabric at Joann's, and I actually got this last Halloween season and never got around to using it. So we're gonna do it now. So I will show you the fabric. Okay, so here is the cute fabric. I love it. It reminds me of like the vintage Halloween masks kind of, and like vintage Halloween decorations. So it's got little pumpkins and kitties and owls on it. So super cute. And I am going to do it kind of paneled with plain old black because I thought it would be really cute. Okay, please don't laugh at my horrible artwork, but this is the idea of how it's going to look. So I'm just going to do a gathered skirt, full skirt with panels of black and then panels of the printed material. So that's the theory. That's what we're going with. I am using a partial pattern. I'm going to be using part of this Gertie Butterick B6453, and I'm just going to use the part for the skirt and then make my own waistband. And it's just basically a big rectangle and then you gather it down. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I do have to sew in a zipper and I'm going to put pockets because pockets. So that is the plan. I hope that it works out well. So yeah, we can do it. I believe in us. Come on a sewing Halloween adventure with me. First of all, we are going to cut out our pattern. So as I said, I kind of loosely went off of this pattern. Basically, you need 3 of these rectangle pieces to have enough fabric for the gathered skirt. But since I was doing paneling, the pattern piece itself is 34 inches, so I just times that by 3 and got 105 inches, and then divided that by 12 because I wanted the panels to be about 12 inches wide, and that equaled about 9 panels, which, as you will see later, I ran into a problem with that because I needed even number of each one, otherwise there would be 2 of the same panel next to each other, and I just surely did not think about that. So my skirt ended up actually being short 1 panel, so it still works out as a gathered skirt. It's great, but just a little problem I ran into there. And so yeah, so I'm just doing the same thing, cutting the 12-inch panels out of the black fabric and now the print fabric. And you may see my kitty helper popping in and out. He was a wonderful help to me. So now that I've got all of the panels done, I am cutting out a waistband. So my waist is 28 inches, and then I just added on the seam allowance of 5/8 on each end, so 1.5 inches. So then I ended up cutting it out to 29.5 inches, and then I did 4.5 inches wide, and then it's going to be folded in half And now I'm just cutting it out with the interfacing as well. And I just use like the heat bonding interfacing. And now it is time to sew. Yay! So right sides together, and I'm telling you what, finding the right side of that black fabric was a bit tricky. I think I did it right, but I guess if I can't tell, then no one else can tell either, right? So yeah, I'm just pinning right sides together, and then I am going to start sewing. And the sewing machine I use, I actually really like it. I got it a couple of years ago on a Black Friday deal from Joann's. It's a Brother machine, and it's like the special Project Runway edition one. I don't know, I haven't used half of all the stitches that it can do, but it's fine. So there you can see those two pieces are together, and then I'm just doing the same thing, alternating black and print and sewing right sides together. And there we have 3 of the panels together, and now I am going for the pockets. So that same Gertie pattern has a pattern for pockets, so I'm just using that pattern piece, and I didn't show me cutting them out, and I apologize for that, but rest assured it was the same as the other process. And so yeah, so you want to go right sides together with the pocket too. Sometimes this hurts my brain a little bit to make sure I'm doing it right, but just remember right sides together. And then you do the same thing on the other side for the other pocket. The other half of the same pocket, I guess I should say. And then right sides together on all of it. So the panels and the pocket, and you don't want to make a mistake and turn those the other way, otherwise your pocket will be sticking out of the skirt permanently. We do not want that, so you gotta make sure that they are right sides together, the same as the other fabric. And then you can just sew around the whole thing. Just maneuvering the machine around the pocket there and up to the end. Okay, there you can see we've got a pocket. And here is where I made the other mistake. I should have sewn the other pocket on right there, but I was going on the still under the impression of an extra panel, and so that means that my one pocket is a panel over too far. So yeah, I mean, I could take it out and fix it, but I have not done so yet. So now on that last one, I left a space for my zipper to go, and so I didn't sew it all the way up the panel. Now I'm taking my pinking shears and trimming the seams. And that's a good kind of vintagey way to finish your seams, is to use those pinking shears. That's what a lot of the garments were in the 1950s. They were done that way. So now it's time to gather. So I am sewing a basting stitch around the whole top of the skirt, and I did it at 5/8 and then at 1/4 inch. So I've got 2 lines of basting, 2 parallel lines of basting, and now I'm taking those end threads and going to gather. This part is a little tedious. You just have to keep going with it, but you can see it's coming together, and you just keep hold of those end threads and push the fabric along so it gathers up. And I usually do like I do one half from one side, and then I switch to the other side of the top of the skirt to do the other end, if that makes sense. And so now I'm just measuring around that waist to make sure that it is indeed at 28 inches, and I was a little too tight with the gathers, and so now I'm letting some of them out and just loosening it just a little bit there. And then I'm going to measure that opening again. And it was pretty much perfect this next time that I measured. So we are good. Now I am working on the waistband, and I am ironing the interfacing on to the wrong side of the fabric. I'm just going over that real good to make sure that it's bonded to the fabric. And then I am folding that in half and ironing it, and then also turning up one edge 5/8 for my seam allowance. And so the other edge, the flat edge, is what we are going to sew to the gathered edge of the skirt. And so I find it easiest to start in the middle. So you find the middle of both the waistband and the skirt and start pinning from there to the outsides, and then just stitching that on to the top of the skirt. And after I stitched this on, I flattened it out and ironed it to make sure that that was laying correctly. And now I just folded the waistband over, and I've got that seam allowance turned up still, and so that made it a little bit easier right there to stitch it on. So now this part is a little tricky because I'm trying to sew as close to the edge of that waistband as I possibly can so that it looks nice and so that the edge doesn't flip up. And there we have it. And now it is time for the zipper. I don't know about you guys, but zipper is like the worst part of sewing for me. I am just not great at putting those in. Like, I don't know why I have such a hard time, but it's just not ideal. So I'm putting one side on, and I'm leaving the top of it undone because I'm going to hand stitch that inside of the waistband. And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm sorry you can't see it very well, but basically I just turned under the seam allowance on the edge of the waistband, tucked the zipper inside, and then I just did an invisible stitch to close that on both sides. And there we go. Waistband is on, zipper is in, and our skirt is coming together. So now we're going to do the bottom hem, and I did use some bias binding, I guess that's what it's called, seam binding, for the first time on this project, and I liked it. I just sewed that seam binding on to the bottom and then turned it up, and then I did an invisible stitch all the way around by hand. And this is the finished skirt. I am so happy with it. Even though it has its little issues, I still think it's totally cute and wearable. I've got my one pocket in a normal place, the other pocket a little further back. It's fine. But no one will know except me, and now you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. It was a fun one. Okay, my friends, we did it. We made a skirt, and here are some thoughts. So, I love the way it turned out. I think it turned out pretty much exactly the way I was picturing, so that's good. There are some little issues and things I would do differently. Of course, there usually are, especially when I'm just kind of winging it like I did with this one. I mean, I had a pattern, but it was, well, you know, loosely followed since I wanted to do the paneling. And so that's kind of where I ran into a little issue is because I ended up with one extra panel, and so then my pockets ended up being off center. So one's like in a good spot on the side, and then the other one is like a little bit further back. But I mean, I don't know, I could always move it, and maybe I will but you know, to finish it right now, I just wanted to get it done and didn't want to undo and redo. So it is what it is. Also, the waistband is not like perfectly lined up in the back, but overall, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. What do you guys think? Does it look like the picture? My wonderful drawing, do you remember? I mean, I think, yeah. Like, yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it's super cute. I actually wore it today and got a ton of compliments, so that was fun. So yeah, let me know below if you guys like this kind of video. Like I said before, hopefully I said it before, I'm not a professional seamstress. I'm not like teaching you really probably anything. I just wanted to kind of show you my process and kind of my go-to when it comes to making a gathered skirt. I always use that pattern and then just, you know, do my waistband. And I really like the width of this waistband a lot. I think this is exactly what I'm gonna do the next time I make it, because I think it's a really good width and it stands up well, and it really kind of sucks in the waist and emphasizes it really well. So I like that. I love the material. Yeah, overall I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I hope you guys like it, and let me know if you end up making a skirt like this. I would love to see it. Tag me on Instagram. I am over there at Laci Faye. I would love to see what you make. And yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I can do more sewing videos if you guys like them. I would be happy to do that. Just let me know. If you have not already done so, please subscribe. I would love to have you around for our vintage fun. I'm super excited for the month of October. I have a lot of fun videos planned, lots of spooky fun coming your way, and you're not going to want to miss it, and I would love to have you stick around. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!